Welcome to a new video, guys. Hopefully you guys are having a great double XP weekend. Fucking grind, you little nerds. So I do get this question asked a decent amount nowadays. Where the fuck does my GP come from? Bitch, I own a fucking mining company, bro. And we actually just bought Jax. I'm not sure if that shit ever happened or not, but anyways, let's continue. So besides things like flipping and like sort of long-term investments, one of the very easy ways to make money in this game is always and probably will always be predicting what Jax is going to basically do, which is obviously things like double XP weekends. We also have mini game weekends nowadays. I might get into that in this video. I don't want to make this video too long because it's not really in my best interest to like acknowledge you guys about, knowledge you guys about, let's just say inform you guys about, you know, merching and stuff, because y'all might fuck me over later on, so I ain't gonna get too into detail with this crap. He says he doesn't want to get too into it, and then he makes a fucking 20-minute video. This guy's an idiot. So besides like staking and doing some other weird shit to make money, like alts and swapping or whatnot, this has always been kind of a very easy way for me to at least make some GP, because it like happens twice a year, guaranteed probably at this point. Even though a long time ago they said they're never going to do it again. And then I think they did a really good one that weekend, and then like they just kept doing it ever since, or some crap. So as far as this double XP weekend, I decided to spend or invest most of my money into like black dragon hides and probably super defense potions. Black D hides I paid 3.8k each for roughly. They were like 4k for a while. I was kind of waiting for them to crash a little bit more because they normally take a while sometimes to go back down. But yeah, sometimes after a double XP weekend could be like the best time to buy an item. And sometimes you have to wait a while for the item to re-crash because it's like restocking or some shit, I guess. I don't really know. It takes a while to crash sometimes, though. Anyways, the past few weekends, black dragon hides, like the 10 ones, have hit like 5k each, sometimes even 5.2. So I figured this would be a decent item to try. It's probably my first time actually trying it. Unfortunately, they went to like 4.7 instead of 5, which is fine. It's not a big deal. I still made like 900 GP off each one or some crap. I bought the first million for 3.8. The other 200,000 I bought for like 4.2k like a week or two ago, because normally what happens is like a few weeks before double XP weekend, things skyrocket to like almost their climax, and then they crash because people are like, wait, I still need money, it's like fucking 3 weeks away still. So they like crash a little bit. I guess like all the merchants start to stock up on them, and then they just kind of crash right after that. So the best time to like invest your money on this crap is like a few months before double XP weekend. It normally rises a few weeks before, probably even before it's announced, just because it's so predictable. I think everyone kind of knows when it's going to happen. Anyways, unfortunately, I didn't take a picture, I don't think, this time of me buying my black dragon hides. Lately, I've been taking like pictures of like my merchers or my flips, including like my long-term investments, I guess, or some crap. Though I did take a picture of the 200,000 defense pots. I bought those for 5,000 each on average. They did pretty well this week. I'm not too sure why. I think every super potion is doing pretty good besides like magic or some crap. So I sold them for 7.5 and 7.7k each. First like 50 or 60,000 was 70 or 7.5 or 7.7, and then the rest 7.5 roughly. I'm not too sure if they peaked around that, but I think that was roughly one of the highest amounts I've seen for a while. So got kind of lucky on those. Dragon hides, like I said, 4.7k each, and the rest for 4.6, which I think was like 300,000. I sold for 4.6, which isn't too bad. I think out of this entire weekend, like the best percentage profit I made was actually off the steel plate bodies. But I didn't make much of them because I had such a small stock of them, because they take a while to stock up on anyways. But steel plate bodies, I paid 1.8k. They hit like 2.8k each. That's what I sold them for, which is pretty sweet. I think that's the biggest percentage I made off of an item out of this entire weekend. But obviously I didn't have that much because it takes forever to stock up on. But yeah, I still made a decent amount. And then I think I had the ranging potions, maybe like 2 or 3k off those ones. Magic potions like 1k off each, not too much. Now, normally I think making a video like this is probably stupid, just because, like, obviously I might be shooting myself in the foot, but from what I've noticed every weekend, I normally invest in different items, because some items just do better, and they have better potential or some crap, so I normally don't ever do, like, the same items, like, twice in a row. Especially if an item does very well the first time, it probably won't do as well the second time, just because people will catch on to that, and then they'll all invest in the same item, and then it kind of just goes south from there. And a good example of that is probably the super attacks. I bought those attacks for like 3.8 to 4k each, sold them like 5.5, whatever. Not too much profit, but that's fine. And then like last weekend, though, I think they hit like 7k each from what I remember. I don't actually, like, I never invested into them last weekend, but they did pretty well. And I just thought I'd put a little bit of cash in them just in case they do well again, which obviously, as I predicted, they probably wouldn't. So I didn't buy too many of those things. I think it was like 150,000 or some crap. How many times does he say crap? Drink every time he says it. I don't know why. I just keep saying it. I'm gonna stop. So I decided to maybe give you guys a few tips on like double XP weekend merch or just merches in general. I can't give like a huge summary of it because it's a lot of shit to get into, and I also don't want to get into it just because it's like secrets. It's like trade secrets, bro. I can't be telling you this. Number one thing to keep in mind is always the safest items are probably items like black dragon hides, things that have like an alk value, just in case shit goes sour. They will always have a spine basically because of the alk price, things like that. It's like a small thing to keep in mind because obviously with the way Jax updates the game sometimes, like obviously Gower's Dungeon 2 came out, black dragon hides, dragon bones, and coal took a big hit for the most part. So you can't predict things like that, which is like where the risk kind of comes in with these type of merches. Long story short, I had like 3 million coal I bought for like, not 3 million, 2 million that I bought for 300 each before Gower's 2 came out and before they mentioned a smithing rework. I kept them the entire time, but they hit like 90 each after the smithing rework. I think one of the JMods literally posted on Twitter, coal will be useless. I'm just like, god damn, really? So once they hit like 90 each, I just kept them because I was like, I'd rather have 2 million coal than like 180 mil. So I just kept them as like a joke. As like a fucking meme basically for myself. And little do you know, they went back up to like 250 each. I sold them all, so I lost very little money off them, thank God. But I almost got completely screwed. So it's always kind of a little bit of like a risk in case Jax did something. Kind of like with old school raids recently, they kept updating the drop table, this and that. They nerfed the bow and crap like that. It's really difficult sometimes to merch items like that. I tend to never bother flipping items. It can be the best profit ever, flipping like brand new items from a boss that's like really useful items. But it can also be a huge loss if Jax does like one thing, which like this time they made the prayer scrolls more common. They split them up as well, so there's 2 different ones. They added that low level one for the other prayer. They nerfed the bow or some crap. So they did a bunch of shit that like made things crash quicker than they should have probably. So keep in mind, things like that is always a risk. So I never really bothered to touch items when a boss is released. I'll like lowball something in there and that's about it, and I normally don't get it. And those merchants, you really have to be on your feet as well. You can't like ever like put in the GE, go out, come back home and be like, oh yeah, nice, I got them. Because they're going to crash like fucking 200 mil within those 2 hours. There has to be like a quick 5-minute flip, buy it for this, sell it for that, and that's probably the best you're going to do. So keep that in mind. One update from Jax can screw you over completely sometimes. Sometimes it's just smarter to just keep the item, because normally if an update comes out, it'll be like panic sellers, and then it'll stabilize a little bit later on. So normally like the first day of it happening, it crashes bad, and that's when I sometimes just buy more of it, kind of a risk as well. But they normally tend to go back up after, because everyone's just like, oh, this is going to be useless now, so they sell it, and then that's when you kind of come in and just buy them anyways. Tip number 2, this is one that I learned kind of the hard way. When you invest your money for double XP weekend, you probably want to have more than just one item that you're investing in. Mostly because if that one item doesn't go well, you're going to make nothing that entire weekend. Even if you think it might do the best out of all the other items, it's probably not smart to invest all your money into it. So yeah, try not to have just one item that you go full in on, and then it like, what if it fucking crashes, it doesn't do good at all, and then you lose money, and then you have a crashing item that you can't do anything with even. And third tip, this one's probably an obvious one, but I tend to look at the like history of the item, obviously, from like the previous double XP weekends or the previous events that happened, like the minigame event stuff. I kind of calculate off of that, but it doesn't always go as planned. Sometimes the item doesn't like reach anywhere near that price it hit before. That happens pretty often anyways, so it's not really a big deal. But sometimes items that don't do well the next weekend, so it's kind of a gamble as well. But I do use that graph a little bit just to kind of realize like when the item is at like an all-time low, and that's normally when I start buying it. You don't want to buy the item when it's like already rising, because then it's like above middle, and it's, I mean, if it's a few GP above middle, it's fine. But like if it's a few thousand GP above middle, don't buy that. Like I think last double XP weekend, it took until November for Black D hides to hit like 3.8k, 3.9k again. They were like 4,000 to like 4,400 each for a really long time, and I just kept waiting for them to crash. They hit 3.8k, 3.9. That's when I bought the bulk of these, and then I just sold them for like 4.6, 4.7. So yeah, I don't like being in a rush, obviously. In fact, looking at the graph now, for almost all of September, which is a month after double XP weekend, so almost for 30 days, Black Dragon hides stood at 4.8k each. That's crazy. That's like how much it peaked at almost during the weekend. So it didn't even crash much at all even after the weekend. So like I said, sometimes that happens, right? And it sucks because you gotta wait a while to restock on that item. But yeah, so next weekend I'll probably do different items. I'm not really too sure which ones yet. Gonna take a look at the graphs and decide slowly. I'm not gonna leak it at all until it actually happens. Then maybe I'll make a video just like this one next double XP weekend. Maybe we'll make it like a friggin' bi-yearly thing or some crap. Oh, I said crap. God fucking damn it. Now, this is the main reason why you guys never see me with like a party hat on. Like I could go buy one right now or a few of them, but I just don't ever really see the point. It's kind of it's a really long-term investment, and it might sometimes take like a year before it even rises like 1 bill. If you invest 7 bill, you make 1 bill in like a whole year of waiting. It's not that great. You can make a lot more investing 7 bill a few times into some stuff and probably make at least 3 or 4 bill off of it. Probably, I don't know. It depends on how active you are with like merching and flipping. The only reason I'd ever probably buy party hats is if I have so much money that I'm like overloaded on it that I like won't have enough time or something to stock up on items or some shit like that. Or I'll buy too much of the item and I'll probably crash it by trying to sell it. So if I ever do, hopefully I do, get into those type of issues, then I'll probably start to buy some party hats. But I haven't hit that margin yet. I don't know when I will, if I ever do. But you probably have to be extremely wealthy to hit that point. I mean, if you got like 100 bill, yeah, go ahead and buy like a party hat set or some crap or like 2 blues or whatever you want. Because you're not going to invest 100 bill in like one double XP weekend. It's really unlikely. And secondly, it almost feels like the money you have isn't yours because you're always investing it. So you can have 10 bill, and then if you're always investing it, you don't really have 10 bill. It's kind of how I feel most of the time. That's why I don't really ever train my buyable stats like all at one time, because like that 2 bill that you spend on prayer, you could have invested it and turned it to 3 bill. So I don't like to use my money all at like a big chunk. That's why I've never really done that. I'm not doing it on old school either. I'm doing it slowly on old school. I think Herblore took me roughly like a year to train up to like 150 mil XP. And I did that at a really cheap rate as well, which is great. Unless a buyable skill like crashes in GP per XP really badly, I probably will never train a buyable skill straight at 200 mil unless it's really cheap, like fire making was basically, or I was even considering fletching, but fletching costs like $1 bill on 07, and that's kind of expensive. Now, if you are broke now, my only suggestion to you would be like start making money, stop using it, and then start to invest it, because that's kind of how I built it up as well. Like I wasn't making I didn't have much money to invest, so obviously you don't spend it and then you continue making more and then you have more to invest. That's kind of how it works. Until you have just too much to invest, then you're kind of screwed. I think another item I used to do pretty often for investing was like mahogany planks. They normally went to 2K each, and before they used to go up to like 3,000 each. But then they stopped doing that. I think it's because sawmills came into the game and it became extremely quick and easy to make planks. But I think mahogany logs started to rise more then, because you can basically like take all the mahogany logs in the game and turn them into planks within a few days. With like a bunch of people started doing it, because I don't think there's that many mahogany logs. It's just no one cuts them, and I don't think any boss drops them. It's pretty rare to get them. On 07 they're only common because of like Zura dropping mahogany planks. Which I wish they made Zora drop mahogany logs, not planks. That way people do plank make or some shit to sink money out of the game. But yeah, that's a different story. But yeah, that used to be one item that I did. Another item I used to do quite often, and it normally works out easily, is like bulk dragon stones. You can keep this in mind as well, although I haven't mentioned this yet. But normally if you have an item that's like bulk, you can normally get a lot more for it because people like need it in that time, and obviously the GE limit is what fucks most people over. So people are going to want to buy bulk dragon stones because it's extremely worth doing dragon stones on double XP weekend if you need crafting XP. Very, very cheap for how quick it is, obviously, and you're going to need to buy them in bulk. So the best way to do it, obviously, is buy them for yourself slowly in the GE, working up towards the XP weekend. But if you're so rich or some crap, then you can just buy it off someone for a bulk price. But what I did last weekend was I did crafting, but I didn't actually stock on dragon stones for a specific reason, because the percentage you make from dragon stones is very little, and I invested my money into a different item. I made more money off that item, and then I bought dragon stones off of someone for a semi-bulk price because it was during the weekend. So I got a pretty decent deal, I guess, for them. But that's basically what I did. If you find an item that's better percentage normally, then obviously go with that. Sell it and then buy the other item if you want. And the last thing to say is I am also still learning on how to merge and not really like flip anything. I think a lot of people know how to flip, but doing investment stuff is always kind of a risk, but it's something that you pick up along the way, I guess. I've always had little small, like if there's ever an item that's like kind of rare but really cheap, you know, dish some money into it. Like I think on old school I dished like maybe 60 mil into like Lanadime and Dwarf Seeds. Nothing's happened yet, but in the future, maybe overloads come out, maybe high-level herb potions come out, and then people need those seeds or the herbs. And the herb seeds are like friggin' 500 each, 1,000 each. What the fuck is that? That's nothing. So I like to invest my money into just random items sometimes like that. The biggest thing would have definitely been Zura scales. They were fucking 50 each, and they are now 50,000 each. I think it's 1,000 times the price. I'm not. Is that 1,000 times? I'm actually still kind of salty. I never invested into that. I didn't really ever like. I don't think I was even playing old school and like this stuff kind of happened. But yeah, if anything's ever extremely cheap, just consider maybe just stocking on it just for fun. Even if it goes like the way I see it, even if it goes to nothing, I only lose a few mil. Like it's not a big deal. If all the seeds I have on old school that I spent like 50 mil on crashed to fucking 1 mil each, or like 1 mil in total, I couldn't care less. It's just 50 mil old school. It's fine. But the potential for them to go up is so much better than them to go more down from like 1k each. Or are they going to be free? Like what's the point of picking them up at that point? Like it's not even worth to pick up a seed that's worth 100 fucking GP. Even if you're broke as shit, it's not worth the tick to pick up an item that's 100 GP. So eventually, just even if they went to nothing, I'd just keep them for fun, and maybe someday something will happen. Which is also like more of like a JX thing. If an item that's pretty high tier is worth nothing, they'll sometimes try to work on making it worth something again. So that's more of like, you know, inside information I get from JX, obviously. Thank you. Actually, here's an interesting fact as well. This happened like 2 weeks ago, I think. I tweeted a picture to one of the J-mods that work on balancing for RS3. I think it's Timbo, I think. I think he tweeted saying he wants to make seeds like more rare on RS3, or he wants to make them go up. And luckily enough for me, I think I didn't have that many because I kind of stopped buying them because they kind of got annoying to buy. They kept filling up my GE slots. But I have like 8,000 Torsil seeds I bought for like 1k each. I have I think 50,000 Dwarf seeds I bought for like a few hundred each or some crap. And Landheim seeds, I think I have like 30,000 I bought for a few hundred GP as well. So just like for fun, I invested like maybe fucking 50 mil, and now it might turn into a few hundred mil. Who knows, right? So that's kind of always been like a little thing that I do. It's kind of like a hoarder, but I don't hoard like a useless item that I guess might have a chance going somewhere, but probably won't. I invest in an item that's worth something or does something, and then, you know, maybe just take your chances with it going up. If it doesn't, no big deal. Anyways, I wasn't supposed to get this into it probably. I'll probably have to throw some background video of me like freaking disassembling shit on my main account. Which brings me to the next topic, obviously. The disassembling you've been watching for a little while. That's actually on my main account. I am going to, obviously, like I said a while ago, train on double XP weekend on my main account. Hopefully getting some invention levels. Obviously, I'm working right now on just getting the augmenters for them because I don't want to spend my weekend making augments, and these things take forever. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this was something to like listen to, probably not really watch during double XP weekend or whatever the fuck you're doing on old school. So I will see you guys in the next video. Gonna hopefully not get fucking screwed over by all my merches in the future by this video. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. And Jesus, man, our last few videos have been so long. I'm killing it over here, man. I'm gonna sell out right here at the ending of the video. If you like these videos being this long and shit, give it a like. And if I see like fucking 10,000 likes, we can do that easy, right? We'll totally do more of these kind of videos. Nah, get that shit to like 1,000 or 2,000. 2,000? Hell yeah. And then we do something else. Ugh, I hate when YouTubers ask for you to click a fucking button for them. Like, fuck them. You can't control me, you bitch. Fuck this, dude. I'm gonna start selling some t-shirts, man. People aren't liking my goddamn videos.